The high factotum Janris Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow.
Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? I shall await your instructions, Lord Captain.
The high factotum Janris Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow.
Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Have you ever heard the name Fiery Reckoning? From what I can tell, it is a void ship of some sort. There was a mention of it in one of Theodora's documents I found.
Janris thinks for a moment, pursing his lips in concentration.
I am afraid it is not immediately familiar to me, your lordship. Please allow me a moment.
He starts rapidly tapping on the screen of his data slate.
I say, House von Valancius did indeed sign a contract with the owners of a vessel with the designation Fiery Reckoning. There are transactions, records of the ship picking up cargo from Chiavagama. Well, this is odd. The data log ends there. Apparently, the ship had some interactions with one of the workshops on your industrial world. I beg your pardon, your lordship, but that is the extent of the assistance I can provide you in regard to this particular matter. I would like to introduce Cabela to some of the customs practiced among people of my stature, show her what life is like on the upper decks, so to speak.
Janris huffs pensively.
Your lordship is most courteous. But what exactly did you have in mind? Oh, but of course. You do not have time to puzzle over such trivial solutions.
Janris adjusts his frock coat and nods enigmatically.
I will see what can be arranged. And do not worry for a single moment. I promise to find the most suitable approach. I will contact you the moment I have something to offer. Would you like to take a bath, your lordship?
The soothing water caresses your senses, and your grateful muscles welcome the chance to rest. A pleasant languor spreads through your body as you allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation.
Which of them would you like me to summon, your lordship? At once.
Styx, are you conditioning your body with water treatments? How commendable. Allow me to share some of the water exercises I learned at the Schola Progenium.
Argenta does not wait for a reply, but immediately launches into a series of detailed instructions. Argenta briskly explains how to stretch your muscles correctly. She makes you repeat each exercise multiple times as she teaches you the best way to do bends and squats. Her eyes are alight with righteous fire and her voice rings out with conviction. She shows the same dedication to completing each exercise as she does to destroying heretics. The sister is tireless, but you do not have her stamina. Your burning muscles beg for mercy and your legs cramp as you gasp for air. This is not exercise. This is torture. Argenta wipes the sweat from her brow with an air of satisfaction.
Good work, Styx. A healthy body is like a finely tuned bolter, a worthy instrument of his will. I will take my leave now. Rest and recover your strength.
You are alone once more. The Master of Ablution stands by at the ready, patiently awaiting your command. The tension slowly retreats as you bring yourself to complete stillness. Joint by joint, muscle by muscle, pore by pore, before long, you have surrendered the bastion of your body to the bliss of oblivion. Troubles, worries, loss, such things do not belong in this newly established dominion of tranquility. There are only the infinite waters of weightlessness, in which, stripped of all things superficial, the mind of Styx von Valancius drifts in silent bliss. This moment of serenity soon fades. The body reclaims the mind, binding it once more to the familiar shell of flesh, sinew, and bone. You feel revitalized. This was truly an experience worthy of a rogue trader. The High Factotum's voice rings with pride. Lord Captain, I have done as commanded. Everything has been prepared for your rituals for Mistress Kibella. A select few upper deck officers are ready to leave their posts to attend this formal gathering and praise your lordship's name. We can begin at your convenience. It will be done. I shall signal the servants and notify the invited parties immediately. Let us demonstrate to Mistress Cabela just how strong our vessel's spirit of camaraderie truly is. My apologies, Lord Captain. The enforcers report that your pet Eldery is in a foul mood and is moving toward the captain's bridge. We didn't dare to stop her, but I expect that you have a difficult conversation ahead of you.
Please spare me a brief moment of your time, Elantak. Azurion knows that I do not care about the curious glances of Monkey. I grew inured to them back in the blossoming gardens of the Lilithon. They curse me from afar. They follow my every move. They ward themselves against me. Let them. After all, what can be done with such weak-minded, primitive creatures? And still, one monkey stunt has caused the cup of my patience to spill over. She dared to approach me, to speak to me, and touching my hand, she suggested that we withdraw somewhere private. She wanted... Morag. The mere memory of it stirs up a tempest in my soul.
Were you truly so offended by it?
Try to imagine, Elantak, being lusted after by a wild beast. It is foul, disgusting. So vile that it makes your very soul shudder.
I understand that this incident was unpleasant for you, but it does not mean that all humans are animals.
No. Your kind, simple souls and narrow minds are the root of all these flaws. Narrow minds and simple souls. Every day, I feel as if I am caught in a trap, surrounded by a pack of wild animals. I am prepared to pay this price to find my kin, but everything has its limit.
I do not think you fully understand human thoughts and actions. It will take time, but I can help you make sense of them.
I have walked the path of awakening, Elantak, and learned to see that which is hidden, and hear that which is unspoken. When I found myself on the Lilithon, I watched your kind long enough to understand the true nature of Monkey. I do not think you can tell me anything I do not already know. Nevertheless, I will not protest. Conversations with you are the only thing on this ship that can ease my solitude.
You are a Xenos, a strange and unknown creature. And humans strive to understand the unknown, for the unknown is the most frightening thing of all.
Had any of them wished to understand my nature, they would have already run away in fear from one who walks the path of the outcast. But they are just trying to provoke me, hurt me. No. Monkey are driven by their instincts. To survive, to breed, to ensure the preservation of their species and the annihilation of those who threaten them. It is neither good nor bad. It simply is.
Sometimes we struggle to understand the motives behind our own actions.
It was emotions that once brought down my kind, Elantok, toppling us from our pedestal as rulers of the galaxy. Indulging your weaknesses or whims does not make your species any more attractive.
All humans are different. My people's interest in you was not intended to be an insult.
Elantok, please understand that I do not find Monkey attractive. The mere thought of being intimate with one of your kind. Our conversation has only proved my point, Elantok, that Monkey and the children of Azurion are as different as night and day. Eldari do not simply see the world differently. They see more than any monkey can ever comprehend.
And what do you see in the world around us that I do not?
What do I see? Your words ring with the desire to know the soul of another. But will you be able to comprehend my answer? I will need time to put the entire truth of this world into the meager language to which your ears are accustomed. When I find my answer, I will pay you a visit.
Lord Captain, I keep receiving reports about malfunctions among the various ship systems. This time we are dealing with inexplicable temperature fluctuations. Thermal control failures were observed not only in individual compartments but even in the soldiers' protective equipment. Several crew members have suffered from burns and frostbite. The tech priests are performing the rites of machine spirit pacification and remain convinced that the issues were caused by the spirit's obstinacy and defiance. Their reports claim the incidents remain well within the scope of expected performance parameters. Over the last few days, complaints about the malfunctioning thermal controls have dwindled, but the crew members have started whispering that our vessel is haunted. The tech priest's assurances that only the machine spirit's tempers are to blame are doing nothing to dissuade these ridiculous rumors.
Sourback. How could you have let this happen? An assassination attempt upon the rogue traitor, in his own chambers, right under the noses of your enforcers?
A fierce growl rumbles deep in Abelard's throat. The Master-at-Arms radiates grim fury, her eyes are dark, her lips pursed. With a practiced hand, she removes the maul from her belt and offers it to you.
An unforgivable error. I accept full responsibility and ask for due punishment.
Sourback hesitates for a moment before putting the maul away.
Understood, Lord Captain. Reporting. All adjacent decks have been isolated. We have begun our search for the culprit and have set up investigation headquarters on the officer's deck. The substance has been analyzed and confirmed to be blood containing traces of major mutations. While it poses no risk of infection to your lordship, the very presence of such genetic aberration on board is a serious threat to the safety of the ship and must be addressed promptly. Once word of this gets out, many among the crew will surely see it as a brazen challenge to your status as rogue trader.
What genetic aberration?
The heresy of mutation. Mutants are vicious beasts who sow only ruin and death. They are devoid of all humanity, and the vile blood that runs through their veins feeds their unclean thoughts and urges. Numerous accounts speak of entire colonies falling prey to bloody uprisings staged by these creatures, all because their governors were too squeamish to order genetic purges. You don't say. I wonder why somebody we don't consider human and exterminate by the thousands would think to revolt. What a crazy mystery.
Alas, the Imperium's enemies are not limited only to those within its midst. Mutants can become a considerable threat, especially when given the chance to organize.
The heretics have revealed themselves and are eager to fight? Then fight we shall. Let the vessel be purged of their filth.
Could this have been an assassination attempt?
Then they would have filled the bath with acid or poison instead. There are easier ways to kill someone than drowning them in blood, as foul as that blood may be.
Cassie shudders.
I beg to differ. Were something of the sort to happen to me, my heart would surely stop.
What do you intend to do next?
As one, every enforcer present gets on their knees.
Lord Captain, this incident has cast a shadow on our honor. We only ask for one thing, a chance to absolve ourselves of our guilt. Allow me to head to the officer's deck at once, so that I may lead the investigation personally.
Lord Captain, on a previous occasion, it was your intervention that resolved the matter that my own rigidity had only succeeded in making worse. With all due respect to Mistress Sourback, perhaps she would benefit from your fresh perspective.
Seneschal, do you think so little of me that you would rob me of a chance to defend my honor?
I will handle the investigation myself. If they wish to challenge me, then I shall take matters into my own hands.
You see a look of horror in Sourback's eyes.
Lord Captain, I implore you. This was my mistake. If you rectify it for me, I will be disgraced.
Very well. In that case, I will take no part in this investigation. Notify me once you have found the culprit.
I will not fail you. We will find and eliminate any and all threats, Lord Captain.
It appears that a large void ship recently dumped a huge load of junk and faulty parts from orbit. The debris that did not burn up in the atmosphere is now blocking the flow of a mighty river. This dam is causing the river to overflow, flooding the nearby valley. A herd of large hoofed rodents has gathered along the river banks. If the animals lose their usual habitat, they are doomed.
The Lord Captain orders the removal of the space debris from the riverbed. It's a long and laborious process, but the animals will have a chance to survive.
It takes many planetary turns and hundreds of crew members to remove the heap of trash and unclog the river, letting the waters flow freely once more. The rodents run back to their pastures without so much as a backward glance at the people who saved them.
Order to the crew. Deliver me victory. This one's going down. Set the course. Another salvo! Fire right now! Leave their hull strewn across the stars! Bleed them! Another salvo! Macro cannon, volley!
Activate the Geller field. Emergency warp jump in 3.
The time has come.
Three.
Fire the last batteries!
We have destroyed their shields and their hope.
Another salvo!
Claimed by the darkness.
Onward! As it should be.
Your ship has reached a new level. You can open the Void Ship Management screen from the panel on the right or by pressing V. On the Features tab, you can improve the abilities and upgrades you already have or choose new ones. Available abilities. The warp jump went surprisingly smoothly. None of the deck officers on duty reported any incidents. However, a strange discovery awaited the Lord Captain when he returned to his quarters. The bed was unmade, and the impression of a head was still visible on the pillow. There were no other signs of intrusion. The guard swore under oath that nobody had entered Lord Captain's quarters.
The Immaterium released us from its grip. This time.
You are facing Chaos Worshippers. It seems their ships have been lying in wait here. The Vox Master reports an incoming transmission.
Our enemies desire a bitter end.
Set the course. Bleed them. cannon! Volley! Another salvo! This one's going down. Macro cannon, volley! Lay in the course.
The time of thy servants is near.
Bleed them! Fire right now! Another salvo!
A wave of angry whispers passes over the bridge as the archenemy's minions train their weapons on you and prepare to attack. You give orders to start the maneuvering thrusters and calculate, adjusting for the gravity fields of nearby celestial bodies, the optimal trajectory through the enemy void ships. Alarms blare and cogitator keyboards clatter frantically as the officers chart the course and pass the data to the master helmsman. The crew is elated, the enemy ships can be evaded with no great difficulty. The bridge is thrumming with the sound of endless officer reports, the hum of ancient mechanisms, and the buzz of servo engines. Among the usual servants bustling to and fro, the Lord Captain notices a flash of flame-red hair.
You posed a question to me not long ago, Elentak, and now I am here to present you with my answer.
With fluid grace, Iliet emerges from the shadows of the captain's bridge. Her face seems to glow under the lumen light, her expression slightly more pensive than usual.
Then listen closely to my answer, Elentak. You may struggle to comprehend what is to be said, being accustomed to reveling in your own might and skewing the world to suit yourself. Pitch your understanding not toward my words, but the sense that lies hidden in the shade of their sounds.
Iliet half closes her eyes, her words unfurling slowly and melodically.
You try to split the world into pieces, to fragment it, into light and dark, truth and lies, self and other. But I see the world as a single whole, and in this lies its simplicity and complexity. It is not enough simply to see the world and hear its voices. You must understand it. Think of the Lilithan, the world on which our paths crossed. What is it truly? What is its essence? The Lilithan's magnificence comes not from the green of its vast forests or from the depths of its waters. Its beauty is in the word, in the way it dances on the tongue. And even you, Elentak, can sense it. Try, say the word slowly, delicately, casting aside all stray thoughts. Feel. Perhaps then you will see.
The world around you fades and your perception instantly narrows, coming to a single point of focus on the tip of your tongue. Lee, your tongue delicately tickles the roof of your mouth, and the sound slips along your throat with incredible silkiness, warming as it goes like a sip of fresh recaf. Lay, the tip of your tongue touches the same place again and air softly rushes from your chest, the sound like the susurration of leaves as the wind weaves through a forest canopy. Then, your tongue taps your front teeth and a gentle vibration spreads through your body, sending a shiver along your spine. Guarded interest gleams in Iliad's eyes when your gazes meet again.
If your words are sincere, Elentak, then you are capable of seeing more than you do now. Instead of the lifeless clamor of monstrous mechanisms, the roar of engines, and the discordant voices of your followers, I hear and attend to silence. It arises in moments of spiritual serenity, and in that stillness we become witnesses to the transformations of our own inner world. Monkey lives past so swiftly. You rush through them for the sake of a chosen goal, but thoughts of transience and loss frighten you, and so you drive such thoughts away and drown yourselves in the daily tumult. But it is from fleeting moments, which enter our lives and quickly vanish from them, that the soul's fortress grows. A moment's blooming, an hour's wilting, the splendor of each lies in its ephemerality. So too the memories of those who have left our side and no longer walk the path with us. And in you, Elentak, I see much more than just another Monkey. Your true essence lies in your will, which is capable of changing the world around you and within you. It lies in your ability to create and to understand your creation, and in your ability to destroy. It lies in what your kin's minds cannot grasp, what their primitive sight cannot behold, but I can see it. I am but speaking the truth, Elentak. However, I ask you not to make the mistake typical of your kind. My words contain no insinuation nor any call for you to act. Your soul shines brightly in this world. I see you, and this will never change. That is all. And what do you make of it, Elentak? How differently do you see the world? And what does that mean?
Iliad asks, with all her attention focused on your words.
I can follow the line of your thoughts, Elentak. Every form, color, creature, and being possesses its own charm and capacity to stir our emotions. Millions of stars in the darkness, the inimitability of void crystals, the plethora of intelligent and primitive life forms that inhabit the galaxy. The world manifests itself in endless diversity, and in that lies its true magnificence.
Iliad says nothing for a time, silently watching you from under her half-lowered lids.
Now that we have each shared our truth about this world, I would like to know if your thoughts about me align with those of your kin, Elentak, or if you see me differently.
Iliad goes still and looks at you intently as if seeing you for the first time.
It seems there are many facets of your soul that I have not considered, Elentak. Interesting. I accept your answer and thank you for speaking with me. This is the first conversation on board this vessel that has truly brought serenity and joy to my soul.
Kibella stands out clearly from the officers in attendance, both for her favoring the full regalia of a member of the Bloodspun Web over formal attire and for the empty space around her. The other attendees are keeping their distance, as if an air of mortal danger repels them from your companion. Danrock, whose keen, worried gaze is locked on Kibella and whose mouth is stretched into the most courteous of smiles, gives you a hurried bow.
Your lordship.
Dominstix, you are here.
Kibella sounds neither excited nor solemn, her tone is indifferent as her fearsome metal claws clutch a slice of fruit from one of the plates. She smiles.
Food like this is impossible to come by in the lower bays. I do not know what this is, but it tastes incredible.
Juice is dripping down her fingers and hand. It seems she is the only one here who has not lost her appetite. The officers' faces have turned into pale, alarmed masks, and none of them is in a hurry to enjoy the feast.
I am attempting to peer through the florid shell to the core, yet it continues to elude me.
Kibella looks you in the eye.
What is the purpose of this ritual, Dominstix? Explain it to me.
Camaraderie. Spending all your days in toil can be dreary.
Dreary? Is serving one's thread not the greatest joy there is? You of all people should know this, Dominstix. I am too conspicuous beside the rest of your servants.
Kibella looks at the other guests, and they quickly avert their eyes.
A fitting mask, that is what is required for a ritual like this. I came unprepared. It will not happen again.
How are you?
I feel wrong. Strange people, strange sounds and gestures.
Kibella lets out a sharp breath. Her gaze becomes vacant, and her hand reaches for the table knife.
I am losing myself in this whirlpool.
Grasping the knife, she begins to carve lines right into the expensive wooden tabletop. A nervous murmur runs through the crowd. Their tense gazes are locked on the harmless-looking, barely sharpened metal utensil in the hand of the cultist of the Bloodspun Web. She blinks in surprise and looks up at you. She glances back and forth, seemingly privy to the meaning of your words, and then, her clear, genuine laughter fills the room, startling everyone around her.
I suppose that's true, Dominstix. I will not fluster your subjects further.
Kibella glances at the maze she has inscribed and sighs.
Whenever I lose my thread, whenever I am forced to stray by the outside world, I return to the labyrinth. It has all the answers. My meditation helps. In finding my way out, I regain myself and praise the righteousness of serving the Undying One.
Gesture at her spinner's mask and regalia. Your choice of attire is not customary for such gatherings.
Kibella looks at you with mild confusion.
My appearance tells those around me who I am. Everyone here is wearing a mask for their respective thread. Is this not a requirement for your rituals?
She glances at the opulent room, the dazzling decor, and the handsomely dressed officers.
I sense that this gathering was a terrible mistake.
Danrock sighs heavily and looks down.
Why? You have looked behind the curtain at my existence, and now I have looked at yours.
Kibella stares at you intently.
I do not think that we have heard all the words that should have been spoken here today. Is it because you do not wish to say them in front of witnesses?
I grow weary of the crowd. Take a walk with me.
Kibella avoids your gaze as the two of you walk away from the other guests. She seems calm, but the slight tremble running down her right hand betrays her agitation. Once you are alone, she looks straight at you.
I have discerned what you are doing here, and I know that your calling it a ritual was a ruse. True rituals are constant, immutable, like the cycles of the cooling machines in the ship's bowels or the shifts of the bay's servants. This was spontaneous, something you prepared just for me, and then you stayed at my side the entire time. Now, here you are, granting me yet another request. Why is that?
You are my comrade. I cannot simply dismiss you and your wishes.
Kibella lowers her head, then looks up at you with warmth.
Here at the top, everyone's blood still carries a craving for what my cult sees as weakness, attachments, intimacy. I understand, but I have no need for them. And yet, I am grateful for the offer.
She shakes herself slightly, as if throwing a familiar cloak of aloofness over her shoulders.
We must now return each to our own thread. Thank you. We are ready for any orders, Lord Captain.
Your Lordship, this is Infernus Master Monteg. I urge you to intervene in the so-called investigation that the Master-at-Arms has organized. The enforcers are out of control, they're assaulting people, depriving them of food and water. Your servants are dying for no reason other than Mistress Sourback's desire to impress you. I'm sure that they wouldn't dare terrorize them in your presence, or at least they would show some restraint.
Why are you so concerned about this situation?
Someone has to be. My clan and my family are among the persecuted. I couldn't stand and watch them being tortured, so I mustered the nerve to address you with a request.
I will not join the investigation myself, but I will oversee the proceedings.
I could not ask for more. Please, don't delay. Sourback barks at the officers gathered before you.
His Lordship the Rogue Trader has seen fit to honor us with his presence in order to monitor the course of the investigation. You are expected to perform your duties immaculately and report your every step to me. Should any of your actions bring shame to the enforcers, you will answer to me personally. Lord Captain, the 3 officers before you have been tasked with conducting the investigation. The first, Captain Klein, is a veteran with a record of quelled uprisings of mutant abominations in the colonies. Captain Ginevri is young, but she has already preempted several mutinies among the ship's rabble. Lastly, there is Captain Rocco. His interrogation skills deserve credit, and he knows how to instill fear and respect firmly in the minds of the riffraff.
After carefully assessing the officers' bearing and their uniforms, Abelard nods with satisfaction.
Their drilling is good, their service records are excellent. Let's see how they perform in the field. What are your findings thus far?
We have discovered a worker's corpse, mutilated and desiccated. We are still looking into the man's identity and position, but the chirurgeon's report has confirmed that, among all the blood that was pumped into your bath amber, the blood-carrying mutations was indeed his. The workers from the nearby decks have all been checked for genetic aberration, but the mutations identified are all within the norm for laboring masses. They are being rounded up for interrogation as we speak.
Iliette frowns as she surveys the deck.
So much noise and empty violence. I am surprised you are able to find anything in this pandemonium of your own making.
Even taking into account the neighboring decks only, that constitutes hundreds of people. How do you plan to question them all?
Our interrogation techniques are broad and varied. However, nothing loosens the tongue like corporal punishment, beatings, mutilations, torture, public executions.
Sauerbach almost purrs as she lists ways of making people suffer.
When combined with psychological pressure, such methods work wonders.
It is inhumane. I order that you immediately cease using these barbaric methods.
Lord Captain, these methods may be brutal, but their effectiveness has been proven over centuries of practice. No criminal will confess if you ask them politely. But if you shatter their finger and courteously remind them how many unshattered bones they still have left in their body, that is a different conversation altogether. That is how the truth is born.
I have faith that my master-at-arms is capable of finding other methods of seeking out the truth.
Sauerbach's glove creaks as she grips her maul. Her gaze remains cold and calm.
As you command, Lord Captain.
Do you have any working theories? The mutants are plotting.
Klein spits in disgust.
They've been breeding like void rats, so they're getting cocky. Must have wanted to infect your lordship with their plague.
It wasn't an attempt on the Lord Captain's life. It was a threat. The rabble are planning a revolt, so they're trying to terrorize us. Soon, you will drown in blood. Insurgents pride themselves on such metaphors. Meanwhile, Captain Hratko is convinced that it was the work of Voigtbeer's surviving cultists. However, I believe this to be a warning rather than a threat. What we need to establish is who is trying to warn us and of what.
What do you propose we investigate first?
The body. Once we have ascertained the dead man's identity, we'll be able to locate his associates and narrow down the number of suspects. Captain Klein is in charge of examining the corpse.
Yes, your lordship. I'm almost done with my report. As soon as it's ready, I'll deliver it to you. Then let us begin.
While we wait for Klein to report back, please enjoy the refreshments that have been prepared for you, Lord Captain.
Captain Klein snaps to attention.
Identifying the victim has proven impossible. His face has been smashed in, and his body is badly maimed. There are too many wounds to determine the exact cause of death, but presumably he died after the killer slit his throat. That's how they drained his blood. No external signs of mutation were found.
In other words, we have nothing. Klein, this isn't a report. It's a declaration of our incompetence before the Lord Captain. You will keep digging around inside that corpse until you have produced some results.
Ginevri looks at Klein with sympathy. She clearly cares about him, but does not wish to trample on her comrade's honor with words of comfort. Rocco regards Klein with a contemptuous smirk, while Klein scowls back at him.
No external signs of mutation, you say? What about internal signs? Performing an autopsy was inadvisable, due to the danger of contaminating the area with genetic aberration.
You see a flash of genuine horror in Klein's eyes before his gaze turns glassy. You have seen that look before in the eyes of other veterans. It's the expression of someone reliving painful memories that have left behind deep scars. They cannot hope to overcome such trauma on their own. They would need help, or a partner, or, perhaps, some strong emotional stimulus.
I have heard that Medici officers often perform autopsies in pairs. One cuts up the body, the other records the findings. You should get a partner, Klein.
According to regulations, one enforcer is required for this duty. However, your lordship's proposal is reasonable. Did you have someone specific in mind?
Ginevri would be an excellent choice.
You catch Ginevri's grateful look, then watch as she smiles encouragingly at Klein.
Come on, Klein, you'd better teach the Greenhorns how to carve up mutants. I'll grab us a pair of respirators to make sure we don't catch anything.
Klein is up to his elbows in blood, his eyes flaring defiantly.
I've examined the filth inside and out. Its innards are a genetic nightmare. It's a bag of corruption wrapped in human skin. Extra organs, scales, atrophied ingrown limbs. But that's not what's important. The body was disfigured posthumously. They killed the mutant with surgical precision, before opening his throat and draining his blood. It wasn't until after the actual murder that they crushed his head and tried to cover up his wounds. The wounds were so brutal I almost missed his work tattoo. The victim was a pipe warden, and I found this in his throat.
Klein presents a blood-stained raven feather. A certain legend springs to your mind, one involving Saint Quirine, who was granted a portent of enemies hiding among the faithful. When Quirine prayed to the emperor for a sign that might reveal the traitors, a raven's feather burst out of her mouth to inscribe the names of the conspirators. Only someone versed in the symbology of the Imperium could have left such a message.
Remember Saint Quirine. Could this be a sign?
Vaal mutants do not make allusions to saints. This was someone versed in the creed.
What tattoo? What do pipe wardens have to do with anything?
The Pipe Wardens are a worker clan that services the ship's sewer systems. The tattoo indicates the worker's status and personal number. This one was
SP246-01. Senior Pipe Warden. For what purpose was the corpse mutilated?
someone wanted to hide the cause of death. What I fail to understand is why they would then leave the body out in the open instead of disposing of it.
It is imperative that we find whoever mutilated the body.
I concur. Would you like to give us specific instructions, Lord Captain?
Sip Amasek, specifics are merely an impediment to flexible thinking. Follow your heart.
Sourback's eyebrow twitches nervously.
Follow my heart. But of course, I should have thought of it myself, Lord Captain. I thank your lordship for your wise counsel.
Klein, I wish to gift you a glass of Amasek for your good work. You look like you need it.
Klein accepts the glass and downs it instantly. Evidently, he is in no state to savor the bouquet and taste of the fine drink you have offered him.
What is our next step?
We should run the victim's identification number through the master work log cogitator. If its machine spirit favors us, we will be able to narrow down the number of suspects. Ginevri, this is your arena.
Ginevri approaches you, followed by a dignified woman in crimson robes. Ginevri approaches you, followed by a dignified woman in crimson robes.
Allow me to introduce the esteemed tech priest Androvetify. She believes she has the right to obstruct the investigation and refuse to grant the enforcers access to the master cogitator.
The tech priest lets out an indignant Binharik trill.
I request that the laywoman's willful activities be halted. She intends to torment the machine spirit of the master work log cogitator Iota 3B. The venerable spirit is ill and in no disposition to endure such abuse.
What is the problem with the machine spirit?
The spirit is old and quick to anger. It therefore calls for a sensitive approach, not a torturous intrusion by a brutish laywoman. Since the start of this watch, the spirit has been unwell, so we have been trying to soothe its woes by applying sacred unguents and sensing the great machine's boards. The dogma of data recuperative quarantine prohibits any disturbances to blessed machines found to be in such a state.
What exactly does this data recuperative dogma prescribe?
Let no profane hand touch the sacred machine stricken. Let the mechanism be shielded from all worldly troubles by a veil of righteous litany, and let its shrine be thrisely honored, till the malady is no more.
Judging by Ginevri's expression, she would rather have her profane hands touch Androvetify's neck.
Pascal, how profane would you say your hands are? I am a Muggos explorator, and this vessel's Ingenseer Prime. The profanity of this unit's hands, as well as the rest of its limbs, organs, and augmetics, is null.
If the honored Muggo supervises the laywoman's tactful interaction with the spirit, I will sanction this disturbance.
Raising her hands high, Androvitafi wails.
Omnicia preserve us. The Great Spirit was infected by a layperson. That is the culprit you should be searching for, not some pipe warden. Sacrilege.
Registering a Category 3 act of sacrilege resulting in a Category Epsilon Quadro transgressive scenario. Requesting the inclusion of the offender in the registry of wanted entities for the purpose of expiative disposal.
We have discovered that the Cogitator's malfunctions began after an unauthorized attempt to access it was made. Someone deliberately angered the machine spirit in order to bury the work logs. Thankfully, the esteemed tech priest was able to appease the spirit and extract the information we needed. The victim's name was Ordo. On the day he died, he was servicing valve 27B, which supplies water to the rogue trader's bath chamber. He also had a partner who has yet to appear for duty since the incident occurred. We have a suspect.
Did the murderer get to the Cogitator too?
Impossible. Since the start of the Watch, this area has been used as the center of operations. No rabble could have slipped by unnoticed. Moreover, a common pipe warden wouldn't know how to commune with the machine spirit. The murderer had help.
Who is the partner?
Senior Pipe Warden Gwedden, number SP-268-55. An 8th-generation pipe warden, no registered infractions, excellent discipline, perfect work record. An exemplary servant of the Imperium.
Master-at-Arms, how do you propose we find our new suspect?
Before Sauerback can respond, Rotko cuts in.
Your Lordship, there was a man named Gwedden among the rabble waiting to be interrogated. He immediately struck me as suspicious. Please allow me to question the man in your presence.
Sauerback narrows her eyes, but all she says is,
Bring him in. Now.
Before you stands a gaunt man in work clothes. His face is swollen from the bruises, and several of his fingers are broken and sticking out at odd angles. He stares vacantly into the distance with watery eyes.
Start talking, you miserable wretch. You tried to kill the Lord Captain, didn't you?
Rotko grabs the worker by the lapels. Gwedden's coat flies open, revealing crude occult symbols painted all over his body.
What's this? Heretical brands? Cultist scum?
Gwedden yells, baring what remains of his teeth.
Yes. It was me. I tried to put a curse on the Lord Captain. I killed my partner in a wicked ritual, rubbed elbows with them demons, consorted with them, all to carry out a dark plot and doom the Lord Captain for the glory of my almighty master.
He bursts into a fit of hysterical, theatrical cackling.
His words, he is trying to paint them over with fake garish hues, but his abject terror carries with it too much black and gray. What does he hope to accomplish with this?
He has admitted to everything, the vermin. I have insisted time and again that the assassination attempt was carried out by one of Voidver's surviving henchmen, and I was right. I guess we weren't so thorough in clearing them out as we thought.
Rotko casts a sharp look at Sourback.
Assess the Enforcer's reaction to the confession.
Rotko looks proud and self-important. Ginevri is biting her nail, as if hesitant to say anything. Sourback is observing the worker in silence, apparently sunk deep in thought. Meanwhile, Klein merely stands still with a distrustful grimace on his face. Other than Rotko, no one here seems to believe that you are looking at the real culprit.
Why has he been beaten? I ordered that the beatings be stopped. My apologies, your lordship. This one was interrogated before your order was given. I will take responsibility for not anticipating it. Does the Master-at-Arms not find it strange that the suspect is so eager to paint himself as a heretic? And in such a preposterous fashion, no less?
I agree, Lord Captain.
Sourback growls at the worker.
I want the truth. Who are you? And who told you to give us this pathetic confession?
The man blanches and starts bawling. He gives up on his sinister theatrics and babbles in the voice of a common worker.
Forgive me, your lordship. I'm not Gwedin, and I'm not a heretic. Yart's me name. I'm a laundryman. Please have mercy, they took my family. That enforcer said she'd throw them out the airlock if I don't confess. She made me draw these unholy marks on myself.
Abelard casts a significant glance in Sourback's direction.
Your enforcers have a knack for persuasion, Mistress Sourback. But this is ridiculous. What enforcer? Name. Give me her name. Ginevri. Her name was Ginevri.
What? I swear that I have not. Ginevri?
The steely edge in Sourback's voice causes everyone present to freeze, but you also hear a note of bewilderment.
We will deal with her later. I will handle the search for Gwedin myself. Lord Captain, would you have us execute this demon worshipper? Execute. Truly, no word sounds sweeter to this Monkea's ears.
Hold on. He has lied to us more than once, and maybe he is lying to us still. Ginevri, do you have anything to say?
I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this.
And yet he knows your name and pointed you out right away. Do you not find that funny? And do you not find it funny that your head is always up your arse, Rotko? It's obvious that someone framed her.
Cease this bickering.
Sourback's snarl forces the officers to back down.
Lord Captain, what we have here is a liar, and a well-coached one at that. He will never confess on his own. What do you suggest we do?
We need to change our approach. Bandage his wounds and give him food. Talk to him gently and with kindness.
A vein swells on Sourback's temple.
Should we also grant him a pleasure palace in the spires of Darganus while we are at it? Lord Captain, I doubt you will get the result you desire, but we will do everything within our power. What do you want us to do with him when we are done?
Iconoclasts, spare the man. Wash off those heretical symbols and let him rejoin his family.
It will be done. There is no cause for alarm, Lord Captain. This conspirator may have been a fake, but now it is only a matter of time before we find the real culprit. We have the pipe warden's names and identification numbers, and we know which clan they are from. We will keep pressing the riffraff until either the culprit confesses or someone turns him in. I will handle this.
The Master-at-Arms pointedly grips the maul on her belt.
Please enjoy your meal in the interim, Lord Captain. The scoundrel will appear before us soon enough. Lord Captain, the real Pipe Warden Gwedden has been found and is being escorted here as we speak. Are there any remaining questions you wish to address before we hear from Gwedden himself?
You can start by reporting on the results of the additional investigative efforts.
Absolutely, Lord Captain. We have thoroughly questioned all detainees known to have a violent temper and compared the tools and weapons we seized with the wounds found on the corpse, but have not been able to establish who was responsible for the mutilation. I take full responsibility for this failure. The interrogation of the detainee Yart had to be suspended. He seems to have gone mad. He just keeps mumbling that it was Ginevri who set him up to lie, and that he must therefore be set free. I doubt we will get anything further out of him, be it with cruelty, kindness, or holy prayer. This concludes my report.
Someone attempted to mislead our investigation. We cannot let this go without consequences.
Undoubtedly. Let us go over the facts we have on the sabotage and compile them. The body of the deceased was mutilated after death. It is likely that the nature of the injuries would have proven very useful in the investigation, and that the perpetrator concealed them for that very reason. Someone sabotaged the work log cogitator, so it would be harder for us to find the victim's partner, who might have information valuable to the investigation. Instead of the murdered man's partner, we were given a fool, one who thoroughly incriminated himself first, before admitting that Captain Ginevri had put him up to it.
Sourback glowers at Ginevri, and she pales with fear.
Who was guarding the body? It was Ginevri.
Klein reluctantly nods at his fellow enforcer.
I relieved her when I came to inspect the corpse, which by then had already been cut up.
Ginevri nervously adjusts her armor under Sourback's piercing gaze.
The corpse was already looking like that when it came under my purview. But I could not get the name of the officer who discovered it. The deck was such a mess that I decided I would deal with it later.
Who had access to the work log cogitator?
The tech priests did not let anyone near the cogitator. They even tried to prevent the enforcer's investigation. Ginevri, were you there the entire time? Yes, ma'am. Since the start of the watch. I went there right after I handed the body over to Klein. The only time I stepped away was to retrieve the data slate from my quarters. I left a watchman, but he went missing. Most likely, one of the officers did not realize he was on duty and sent him off on some errand, but I was only gone for a few minutes.
Very convenient. A missing sentry, a data slate misplaced against regulations.
Rocco drums his fingers on a holster on his belt, where his own data slate sits tightly nestled.
I don't understand how I could have forgotten it. I always check my gear when I go on duty.
Suspect Yart claims that you coerced him into lying about himself, Ginevri. What do you have to say for yourself?
I may have conducted his preliminary interrogation like so many others. Krotko requested my assistance because of my experience in dealing with the rabble. But I swear that there is no truth to these accusations against me. I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this. The transcript says you conducted Yart's interrogation alone. Why is that? Because I can handle a single laundryman.
Ginevra raises her chin proudly.
I cannot decide. Sauerback, you can handle this yourself.
Sauerback casts a menacing look over the room.
Leave it to me. I will not rest until I get a confession. A real confession. In the meantime, let us get back to the assassination attempt.
The pipe warden does his best to remain reverentially bowed, which paints a rather comical picture given his formidable height and complexion. He lowers his head, tugging at his beard. Senior Pipe Warden Gwedon, honored to serve, Lord Captain. I'm ready to confess to everything.
You are the real Pipe Warden Gwedon, are you not? I am, and I'm proud of it, Lord Captain. A Pipe Warden's craft is hard work, but necessary. My number is SP268-55. My work partner was the late Ordo, number SP246-01. I oversee the water supply systems on the upper decks, sectors A3, K8, and R2. That includes valve 27B.
There can be no mistake. I have verified his identity myself. It has also been confirmed by the other workers.
Why did you fill my bath with blood? I did as the servant of death commanded. She said the Emperor gave the first spinner a sign, that your lordship should be bathed in the blood of poor Ordo, my partner. And I, well...
He gulps.
I was scared. So I obeyed.
The first spinner? Are you talking about the vizier of the blood-spun web?
Why yes, that's him. He leads the death cultists, the lot who worship the Emperor by killing. His spinners hunt down heretics, but sometimes they take righteous lives too. Their service is mysterious, fervent, and bloody. Whom do you mean by this servant of death? A holy slayer in black and crimson and bone. Feared by all, they are quiet and merciless as death itself. They come from the shadows to kill, because the Emperor commands them so.
You have already met the servants of the blood-spun web, Lord Captain. Their grim procession is not one the upper decks will soon forget.
Did you kill your mutant partner? I didn't kill him, and I didn't know he was a mutant. Orto and I always got along, even if he wasn't much for talking. But then...
He shudders.
A servant of death came from the darkness, ended him quickly but harshly. She bled him dry and put a black feather in his throat. She told me to pump blood into the pipes, and then she left. I wanted to confess, but I was afraid she'd come for me too if I did. Summon the vizier of the blood-spun web. I wish to hear his explanation.
As you will, Lord Captain.
Your lordship, if I may ask, what happens to me now? I never meant to anger you. I thought I was doing as the Emperor willed it, but here we are. I'm a simple man. I know pipes, and I know them a lot better than all this people business. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but I can still smell rust and metal, though not so much in people's thoughts. You acted as a true servant of the Emperor would. I will have you provided with the best ocular implant for your work. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, your lordship. I'll serve you faithfully, and I'll never forget your mercy.
The vizier of the blood-spun web treads lightly and silently as if his old, gaunt body has no weight at all. He whispers weakly.
Dominstix willed to see me, and so I have come. Nod respectfully, I have summoned you to discuss the actions of your apprentices.
The vizier responds in an equally respectful manner.
Let their deeds be weighed.
Investigation has established that the blood-spun web orchestrated an attack on his lordship by means of pouring unholy blood into his bath. This affront.
The old man's murmur drowns out Sauerback's relentless voice.
Dominstix knows the truth. So it was done, for so I did will. It was no affront, but a prophecy. For my hands to divine, unsullied martyrs offered their souls and bodies into his imperishable embrace. I gazed into the red rivers of their smoldering lives, and I did see a roiling unclean staining the bays, reaching for the anointed Lord of the Ark. In my apprentice's last sighs, I heard the Undying One's whisper. He bid me, bathe the Daemon in the blood of he who must go and they who have been righteous, for this will shield the Daemon and strengthen his body against the roiling unclean. I obeyed. Do you claim that you did it because the God Emperor willed so? I speak, move, and draw breath because he wills so. I defy not the Undying One, either in death that gifts and takes nor in my living existence. Could your vision have been false?
The vizier's lips curl into a smile.
I held the cards of his tarot, washed in the blood of the righteous. They make no mistakes, and neither does he send false visions. Only mortals err, they who read the signs, they who interpret. The man you killed, who was he? I know not. I heard only the name, and I knew he must go.
He listens to the empty space above his shoulder and nods.
Yes. We need no more knowledge than that. What do you mean by the roiling unclean? He did not reveal. But it is corruption itself. It offends him. It tastes as sweet as fetid waters in old pipes. Its promises are the deception of an enforcer's smile. Its face is elusive. Master-at-Arms, are you convinced that we have found the culprits?
The situation is clear, your lordship.
Sourback makes the sign of the Aquila.
The Emperor has sent us a portent. The protector of mankind guides the hands of his holy servants to guard us and warn us of hidden threats. God Emperor, I thank thee for protecting us, even though there are instruments of your protection whose purity and holiness I may never understand. This Monkey has drawn attention to the mutant in a way that could not be ignored. A shrewd tactic if the threat is indeed as great as he believes.
Could it be a coincidence that the victim of the ritual was a genetic aberration?
The officers around you keep a respectful silence, but you can tell by their faint smiles that they find the very idea of doubting the Emperor's providence absurd.
I will not have murders and bloody rituals committed on my ship. Henceforth, the cult is banned from engaging in such spectacles.
Something resembling alarm creeps into his colorless voice.
They were martyrs. It was their conscious wish to walk into the undying Emperor's embrace. Domesticks, by disallowing the spinner's duty to him, death, and the dynasty, you cut the very threads of faith that the blood-spun web uses to hold the flagship's bays together. Such is my will. Such is your will. We obey, but know this, domesticks, death claims all. One way or another.
Be that as it may, we have hit a dead end. We hope that exposing the culprits would lead us to the aberration's lair.
Sourback, the investigation must continue. But no spinner or brave warrior from the Damon's circle can find the roots of the unclean, for it can appear as human and act as human. Only its thoughts betray its vile nature. Only its thoughts are never human.
Wise.
Anxious silence falls the moment Sourback says this one word. She narrows her eyes.
Is it unclean thoughts we need to find? Very well. Let Wise find them. He knows how, no matter how badly he wishes that the rest of us forgot about it.
Veiny Zachary is a fearsome hunter. When he hunts, the flagship wails. When he thinks, my teeth creak, and I can feel pain as if I am young again. But his power is great indeed. He can hunt down our prey. How can the choirmaster of the astropaths be of use to us?
The esteemed Zachary Wise can perform the ritual of thought reading. This practice lets him do a cursory examination of the minds of thousands of people in search of certain individuals. A ritual as rare as it is dangerous, and only someone as versed as Master Wise can accomplish such a feat.
Has Wise done something like that before?
Once, Lady Theodora made use of his services to expose spies on board, who apparently had been in the employ of Lord Inquisitor Calcazer.
Correct me if I am wrong, but it seems that not everyone here is eager to leave this matter to Master Wise.
I would say the one least eager will be Master Wise himself. Last time, his efforts caused some severe warp manifestations. The ritual truly is perilous.
Not to put too fine a point on it, Wise nearly destroyed the ship back then. Incidentally, he had given us multiple warnings that it could happen. Lady Theodora ignored him, and we reaped the results. Oh, why do I get the feeling that I know what will happen next? I already have a psyker in my retinue. Adira can perform the ritual.
The vizier listens intently, not to the words of anyone present, but rather to someone invisible and inaudible.
I hear you, yes, the witch is weak. Death whispers of many names that it will claim if she is allowed. Names whose time to be erased is not now. That is all. Master-at-Arms, your duty is done. I give you leave to wrap up the investigation on the officer's deck.
My duty will be done when the threat is eliminated. I will brief the enforcers while you consult Choir Master Wise, Lord Captain.
Until the end of combat, the target ally increases their MP by +5, their agility by +9, and their AP by +1. The Vanguard chooses an ally. All enemies in a 3-cell radius around this ally must make a willpower resistance test with a -15 penalty. On a failed test, the Vanguard becomes their priority target. Regardless of the willpower resistance test results, the chosen ally does not provoke attacks of opportunity from these enemies, can shoot enemies in melee range, and move as if not within range of attacks of opportunity. The bounty hunter makes a free single attack with the selected weapon. This attack always hits, does not end the bounty hunter's movement, but deals only 44% of the bounty hunter's usual damage. After each third enemy killed by Claim the bounty hunter recovers +1 charge of Hunt Down the Prey. Prey, if Claim the bounty kills a target marked as prey, the bounty hunter receives +2 AP. The bounty hunter sets a trap on a free cell in a 10-cell radius around them. Any enemy entering the 2-cell radius around that trap activates the trap. Each enemy in a 2-cell radius around the trap suffers 12 direct damage and must pass an agility resistance test with a -6 penalty or become immobilized until the enemy's next turn. The bounty hunter gains plus AGI bonus MP at the beginning of their next turn. Prey. A target marked as prey is always immobilized until their next turn. The target ally gains plus 22 to their willpower and toughness until the end of the combat. The assassin makes an attack that does not count toward the limit of attacks per turn and does not block the assassin's movement, but deals only 25% of the assassin's usual damage. If the attack is successful, the target suffers the hemorrhage effect. Hemorrhage. At the beginning of each of the target's turns they will suffer 7 rending damage that ignores armor and deflection. Choirmaster Weiss turns toward you long before you reach him. A chill runs down your spine, as if someone were watching you from inside your own being. You summon your will and drive out the unpleasant sensation. The choirmaster smiles sadly.
You shroud your mind well, your lordship, and yet I can guess why you have come. With all due respect, I am asking you to reconsider. So you would rather not take part in the search for mutineers? It is my wish to be useful to your lordship, but what you have come for will put the ship in peril. A ritual of this kind can, and certainly will, go the worst way possible. Your predecessor came to me with the same orders once. Nothing good came of it. Please believe me, Lord Captain, when I say a mountain of corpses was the least of the problems we faced that time. So you say you have performed the ritual before for Theodora? Many years ago. It was a time when Lady Theodora had become anxious. Perhaps the Lord Inquisitor's interest in her affairs adversely affected her, shall we say, trust in her own subjects. She was expecting a betrayal, and eventually her paranoia brought her to me. I performed the ritual, but the choir ceased to exist. I remember that day, Lord Captain. When we arrived at the chapel, there was blood and human remains everywhere. But that was the least of the terrifying things we saw there.
The Asuryani spend decades tempering their spirits before touching the veil. You lack the gift of time, yet you seek to harness powers that are only too pleased with your ignorance.
What is the nature of this ritual? It takes the entire choir's power to invade such a prodigious number of minds at once. I weave their voices into a chord and steer it into the murky sea of other people's souls. Together, we read tens of thousands of thoughts, emotions, and intents, looking for the thing we are after. The seed of corruption you are interested in. Why are you so worried about the ritual? Lord Captain, do you know the proverb about staring too long into the abyss? What you are asking for is tantamount to plunging the entire choir into that abyss. A ritual like that will require incredible focus from each of its participants. It will take a single careless thought, a single glance in the wrong direction, for the way back to be lost. Human minds fusing into one another, vitrified organs inside still living bodies, perverse fantasies manifesting in the flesh. Nothing will stop the horrors of the warp from spreading all over the ship in the blink of an eye. And even if I agreed, it would be impossible. I would need a second powerful telepath as a defender to shield my mind. The last time, my best apprentice, Adeline, did that, but she is no longer with us. She was exceptionally talented, rivaling even myself. Now I know of only one psyker in the entire expanse who is her equal, but he is bound to the service of one of House Winterscale's planetary governors, and thus unavailable to us, which makes your dangerous enterprise an impossibility. How bad was it? Worse than you can imagine, your lordship. It only took a fraction of a second lingering inside another mind for one of the astropaths to lose control of their own. The affliction spread down the chain like fire. No one was spared. The minds of my charges could not withstand the tension. Their consciousnesses were caught in a vortex of alien thoughts. The fortunate ones died at once. As for the rest,
Argenta makes the sign of the Aquila.
Protect the souls of the stricken and take them under your wing, that your faithful servants may find peace.
how did you survive? I managed to send out a call for help and did my best to contain the phantoms on my own before Lady Theodora arrived. I was the only survivor out of the entire choir. Her ladyship allowed me to spend a month in a secluded cell upon whose floor and walls I drew the most powerful protective hexagrams I knew. I was crushed. I was broken. And worst of all, I was afraid. Afraid of meeting the same fate as Adeline and my other apprentices. An astropath must never be afraid, your lordship. One who yields to fear dies and dooms those around them. How did you replenish the choir? Lady Theodora bombarded the Adeptus Administratum for months with requests to provide her with a new astropathic choir. In the end, new voices did fill the chapel. They were never told what happened to the previous choir, but they have inklings. And I pray to the God Emperor that they never find out the details of that tragedy. How is a ritual like that even possible? It is akin to heresy. It is not heresy, but it is indeed a dangerous tool that will only yield to a mighty hand. That time, things were going all too well. The choir was many-voiced like never before. Adeline and my other talented apprentices sounded louder than the rest of astropaths in all of the expanse. We were strong and confident enough to take a bold gamble, and we lost. The important thing I am interested to know is, was the ritual successful that time? Did you find what you were looking for?
The choir master cowers, as if cornered.
I did find it. But the price. Yes, Lady Theodora got the name she wanted, but was it worth it? The tragedy has remained a secret hidden within the chapel, but we were a hair's breadth away from it becoming an epitaph inscribed on the ship's remains. It is fair to say my predecessor was being herself there. Please, Lord Captain, learn from her mistakes instead of committing your own. I see. That is the harsh truth, your lordship. It must not be done. We can find a psyker who will help you perform the ritual. And who is it?
The choir master's smile, though courteous, seems ever so slightly sarcastic.
You mentioned knowing a powerful psyker employed by the Winter Scales. Who is he? Master Harriman is a seasoned telepath, but his lord would never part with such an incredibly valuable specialist. A sizable amount of money will be necessary to organize Master Harriman's escape. We will find a more honorable way. That means we will have to cancel the ritual.
A faint hopeful smile appears on his lips.
I could help you with the ritual.
Weiss's smile has a hint of condescension.
With all due respect to your unquestionable talents, Lord Captain, I need a psyker capable of working with a specific branch of psychic knowledge, that being telepathy. How about Adira? Absolutely not.
This is the first time you have ever heard the choir master raise his voice.
She is a witch, an abomination. She will only make the situation worse. The beasts of the warp will sense her heresy-prone soul and descend upon us in droves. Heinrichs is a psyker. He could help. Master Van Calix is a brilliant biomancer, your lordship, but as far as I know, he is not particularly adept at telepathy or psyker's protective rituals, is he? I trust Adira and am appointing her your assistant. This is non-negotiable. You have signed our death sentence.
Weiss's anger almost seems to ignite his otherworldly gaze, making it burn right through you. However, his face does not stay contorted with fury for long. There is a distinct coldness to his voice as he says,
Well, your lordship, bring your witch here. Why, the abyss will do so much more than stare at us today. We will be throwing stones into it, and begging it to devour us.
The choir master speaks the last few words with the bitter smirk of a condemned man who has just been told the day of his hanging. The temperature inside the chapel is dropping. Every breath turns into a cloud of vapor. The astropath's resonant voices blend together, following the pattern of the melody playing in the hall. Every now and then, muffled moans are heard coming from the thrones of the junior astropaths.
The Immaterium is restless.
Cassia's voice sounds stifled, as if she is fighting for air.
The colors are darkening. No, they are beginning to boil.
You hear an interloping voice in your head, like an echo of a distant echo.
Your lordship, I sense strangeness, non-minds. They do not seem human-like. How strange. They are akin to insects, parasites. I cannot read them, and that is wrong. Look.
A dark veil clouds your vision, only to be succeeded by a blinding light a moment later. The great whiteness is the ship with its multitude of minds, of which you are one. A shadow of utter nothingness wins its way across the blinding white. You hear the choir master's voice coming from a distance, but cannot make out a single word. Your gaze slides along an iridescent thread that has crossed the nothingness. Something shining is towering behind it, a golden giant frozen in place like a statue. A sudden jolt of fear distracts you from that image. Your thoughts turn back toward the nothingness and its kaleidoscope of absences, no color, no emotion, no thought. In its furthest depths, there is something crawling. Your resolve is firm, and your mind and soul unflinching. The nothingness has no power over you. Your eyes follow the thread toward the golden giant. It is not until you get close that you realize that the radiant image is a lie. The gilt flakes away, and the stately body is twisted out of shape as its limbs grow extra joints, mutilating the marvelous figure. A beastly fanged face with a repulsive worm-like tongue turns to you. Its eyes, burning with nothingness, penetrate your soul. Thoughts, secrets, wishes, goals, nothing is spared as the abomination rummages inside you like a predator gutting its kill. The choir master's voice sounds inside your mind.
I cannot see them. I cannot read their minds. I cannot see into their lair. I see only images, fragmented and sinister. Forgive me, Lord Captain, but we took this risk in vain. What are we dealing with? Some kind of defensive measure? Sorcery? Not sorcery. Something else. I have never encountered minds like this before. Something about them is wrong. I will not tolerate failure. Continue. It's no use. I can know.
The nothingness cackles and croaks. I see you. It assumes a vague shape, a man shriveled by age and infirmity, his eyes alight with an alien purple flame. You have been looking for me. A blind man clad in green appears between you and the croaking nothingness, shielding you.
What manner of abomination are you? I cannot sense you. You are not of the warp. What is your twisted nature?
I cannot sense you either. But I know you. I heard you were going to seek me out. My ears are everywhere. I was ready. The age-worn voice is like a deep wail echoed by a throng of smaller voices. Civilizations and star clusters lie buried at the bottom of the being's pale eyes, which are aflame with hunger. Your mind feels cramped inside your skull, and you can hear the bone creaking.
Did the ritual work after all? No, this is not my ritual.
Panic rings in the choir master's voice inside your mind.
This is his spell. An invasion of our minds. While I was seeking it with my power, it found us with its own. And I cannot stop it. I cannot force it out of our heads. Get it away. Attack. How? I cannot sense it, I cannot.
You are my prey.
See you. Already done. Not my specialty. Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes.
I am a navigator, not a servitor. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. If only that were possible. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. That is foolishness. Try to die with grace. In the Imperial.
Emperor, protect me.
Dare you!
I will do my duty. Indeed. It will be done.
Look out.
You don't frighten me!
Doubt is for the weak. Faith without deed for you, my Emperor. I refuse. As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Request. Your Messiah condemns you. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. My vow is to serve. Running binary override. Request approved.
Emperor, protect me. I can't stand it. Quick, quick. I've suffered worse. Just a minor setback. This way. This way! I can't stand it. Not a problem for me. Greed and duty go hand in hand.
You had always believed in yourself, not in him. Well, he disbelieved in you too.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Running binary code right. My vow is to serve. Running binary code right.
If I may. I'll show you why navigators are feared.
Significant value. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Request approved. The only sign
You were useless as a mentor. Your failure merely confirmed my expectations.
failed.
You should have known your place.
My place is at the fort. Victory is imminent. I took care of this one. I will do my duty.
Faith without deeds is worthless. Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Request denied. Advancing.
what it takes. I'll live another day. Emperor, protect me. I can't stand it. I'll do what it takes. Quick, quick! Absolutely not.
A gloomy premonition clouds the mind.
Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes. Already done. All too easy.
As duty demands. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
At your beck and one, you are target.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Damage to bulk.
It will be done. Indeed.
I'll do it.
Faith without deeds is worthless. Doubt is for the weak.
Running by now.
I had warned you that the ritual was a mistake, and for that, you turned me into a monster. You failed even at that, you miserable fool.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Brace yourself, Abelard. I'll do what it takes. I took care of this one. Protect me. I can't stand it. Quick, quick!
High momentum.
Suits my purposes.
Insects begin crawling under your skin.
I am fear incarnate. Opposing me was your biggest mistake.
Isn't this a job for the tribe?
When you were soaking up my power, killing me, what did you feel? Did you enjoy it?
Nothing I can't do.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Request approved. Post-mortem servitorization. Denied. My vow is to serve.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
I looked up to you. I followed every word you said. If I had only had the foresight to defy you at that fateful moment.
The healing is much appreciated. Pathetically sound approach. Victory is imminent. One fewer target. Reduced to dust.
Heavy is the tread of his faithful.
All I wanted to do was help. I was trying to save you. And you? What have you done to me?
The omniscient knows all, comprehends all. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Quick, quick!
Wisdom is the reward. The order is contrary to dogmatic protocol.
protect me! Emperor, protect me! Not a problem for me. Nothing of value has been lost! Suits my purposes.
Running binary combat is an equation. Your life is a negligible variable. My vow is to serve.
If I may,
Damage is negligible.
isn't this a job for the serfs?
I'll do it.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. I am unsatisfied.
High momentum.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time. At your beck and call. I will do my duty. At your beck and call. Victory is imminent.
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. Doubt is for the weak.
Cogitation fails. Running binary combat.
Brink of agony!
The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Running binary override.
I am unsatisfied.
Request approved.
I'll do what it takes. Emperor, protect me!
Another foe.
I can't stop it! Quick! Quick! Cut, you miscreant!
The blood freezes in your veins.
Activating force mode set.
None shall survive!
The choir master awakens with a sharp breath.
Lord Captain, we are still alive. The God Emperor has protected us this time, but curses, did I not warn you?
The old man shakes his head dolefully. His pale fingers are clutching the aquila adorning his belt. A moment of silence, then words of prayer stream from his lips in a monotone, like a quiet lament, a dirge for the departed, a bitter confession. When he continues speaking, his voice is full of strength.
Yet we escaped disaster. The warp did not take our souls, and there are far fewer casualties this time. And we were doubly fortunate, given the vulnerability revealed in Mistress Thlass's soul. We nearly became the latest chilling legend of the Coronis Expanse, the ghostly vessel in whose groaning bays roam unquiet souls. What in the throne's name just happened? That thing took the shape of an old man and attacked me. I do not know what it is, but it is neither human nor a psyker. It is something else. Its power is foreign and inimical to me, like a shadow that obscures the shine of the Immaterium's chaotic energies. I was unable to read the abomination's thoughts, and it seemed to find me no less strange than how strange it was to me. Thus it attacked, for any strangeness is a threat. It had clearly been warned that we would be performing a dangerous ritual, that we would be vulnerable. So it sought to sabotage us by attacking my mind. And my mind almost got us all killed. You still managed to discover the evil we were seeking. No, your lordship.
Weiss shakes his head grimly.
The ritual proved incapable of extracting anything of value. This evil chose to reveal itself and attack. Our enemy is confident and bold, and so it did not hide, it struck first. Suspiciously brazen. Those things seem to know you.
Weiss lowers his head further.
The insidious spawn thrive on confounding one's reason. They dom the faces of those I once held dear. My apprentices. All of whom perished, the previous time I performed this ritual. They have haunted me ever since, in my dreams, in the warp, everywhere. The Immaterium abominations who devoured their souls have been tormenting me with shame and regret, and now they have come for my sanity as well.
When the choir master speaks of his fallen students, there is lingering pain in his voice. His words reflect more than just a terrible memory, they are heavy with the bitterness of personal loss, or of guilt that eats away at the soul.
Was that old man a mutant? One of those we were looking for? Even if not, there was nothing more chilling we could have possibly found. An inhuman thing in human form. A true sacrilege against the Emperor. Its mind is strange, like an insect's or a parasite's, but I saw images in the minds of those around it. Currents of energy. A blue glow. The clanging of metal. Could be the plasma drive chambers? That is where I would start searching for signs of corruption, and a worm tormenting a star.
Weiss touches his cheek, which is smeared with blood that is trickling from under his blindfold. He uses the blood to sketch a perfunctory image, a many-beamed star with a fat, fanged creature coiled in front of it resembling either a lava or a serpent. The longer you listen to Weiss, the more convinced you become that the warp manifestation was not caused by the conniving of the ruinous powers, but by the efforts made to discover an incredibly alien mind. Such an unnatural mind could belong to a dangerous Xenos.
Are you familiar with this symbol? No. It could be the emblem of some cult on this ship, but I seldom leave the chapel and have never come across it before. Inform the Master at Arms of everything we saw. Let her search the plasma drive chambers and find the mutants, and the old man for me. We sacrificed some of the soundness of our minds to the Immaterium today. I hope it was not in vain and will help your lordship.
He winces in pain.
I still cannot believe we survived this.
Weiss slowly unclenches his hand, and a cloud of frost rises from it, revealing his aquila, now bound in purple psychic ice. He whispers,
"The Immaterium has touched it, the holy symbol of the protector of mankind."
He pauses, then adds in a gloomy voice,
"I do not know if this is a symbol of our victory over the horrors of the warp, a trophy claimed in battle, or a grim portent left by the wicked spawn of the Sea of Souls. Anything touched by the warp must be disposed of."
Ice-covered Aquila.
Nothing can shake your lordship's spirit. May this Aquila bring you good fortune. I will have a new one delivered to me immediately.
He looks at the Aquila with sorrow.
If only everything that the Immaterium takes from us was so easy to replace.
None shall stand in my way.